Join us now on the phone lines. Excited about our next guest is Patty Davidson, Bet Money Honey podcast. And Patty, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. I definitely appreciate you. Bet Money Honey, let me know a little something about your podcast that you got going on and who you're trying to feature and really focus in on with the podcast.
Well, thank you for that question because, I've been in the sports industry for a long time. I was here 40 years ago or something, when we had no computers and so on and so forth. And so it was kind of a small industry, but the industry has exploded so much because now that you can bet in other states, of course, and you got apps on your phone, and it's just the nature of it. But it was always like a man-ruled world. Women were like, ooh, I don't even know how to bet. But now that it's everywhere, I feel like that women should know how to bet because it's something that they're missing out on.
No, it really is. And, what made you, like you said, you've been around it for a long time and it was a smaller industry and now it's obviously large. But what made you feel like, I need to go ahead and educate everyone. I need to be up on game and educate everyone.
I would just talk to people because I still love betting sports. I don't do it, like for a living or anything, but I just like it because you put a wager on a game, guess what? All of a sudden it doesn't even know if you have a favorite team, you still like watching the game. And it just makes it interesting. So I would talk to, my friends, women where I work and this, and they were like, man, I wish I knew how to bet. I wish I knew how to bet, and I would say, well, this is how you bet a basketball game. This is how you bet a baseball game. And now we have soccer. And think about everything that's happened right now, too. We have women's basketball that people are interested in. And so things have changed so much. It's like, why not teach them how to make a bet? Because you walk up to a counter and you say, I want to make a wager on the Dodgers. Okay. And then all of a sudden the person behind the counter goes, would you like that to be just a straight bet? Do you want that to be a money line bet? Do you want that to be an over and under bet? Do you want that to be, you want to turn around and just walk away because you have no idea?
No, I know that's right. And it's funny. I've heard people that, have been making that bet or trying to make that bet and not too sure exactly what they want to do. So, Patty, this is a great segue when someone says, well, what is the like basically betting for dummies rules? What would you tell them?
I try to break it down into, whenever I do my segments, into one item only. Just one item. Just learn one thing, And I'm not teaching them who to bet. I just want to teach them how to bet. And so I say, okay, let's just start with, right now it's baseball season, so I say, just start with baseball. So walk up to the counter and say, know this, okay, here's my betting number, here's my team, and know that if they're a favorite out, and I try to explain what's a favorite, what's an underdog, so it's very short segments. So if you know that when you walk up and it's minus 165, you're going to have to put up $16.50 to win your 10. And then I always say, and then if you want to do more than that, just add a zero, add a zero, add a zero, And so we do it that way, and explain to them basically what is a favorite, what is an underdog, what is a total.
There's no doubt. And those are the basics. But sometimes you got to know the basics, right? Well, all the times you got to know the basics before you can get advanced in the sports betting world. Again, Patty Davidson is our guest here. Bet Money Honey podcast as she has. So, okay, you take the first step, which is kind of know the basics. What would be the next one thing that you teach?
Then I go, into what are like more exotic kind of bets.
Okay.
So once you know the foundation, it's like building a house. Once you've got the foundation down, then you can kind of start, decorating and building it up a little bit. And so I say, okay, well, what's a round robin? What's a parlay? How do you calculate your parlay? Doing it that way so that you can even have a little bit more fun. Like I just did one yesterday was, how do you convert a money line into what you need to know how much you're supposed to be paid in a parlay? And just, breaking it down to very simple, very simple, very simple. And that way you say, well, it might be nice to bet that one game, but oh my goodness, what if you had games all through the day?
Right.
And you just went, okay, I win this one, I win this one, I win this one. But the main thing is just to teach them a little bit of everything. It's just, you can go to so many different sports. Let's say we go to race, car racing, auto racing. It could be, then you go into propositions. It's like, okay, I can go into a race and just say, okay, I think this person's going to win. But, that's like having a horse race. You got how many people against you. But what if you just said, I got two people, I'm just going to match them up. I think this one will beat this one. There's just different aspects of it. Just try to get them comfortable with, oh, that's a proposition. I could do that instead of betting the whole race.
Right. Isn't it funny, Patty, that, that there was one point where talking about sports betting on the radio would be something that would be super frowned upon and probably get people fired. And now it's like that's the conversation. And if you don't know how to even have a basic conversation about it, it's like, where have you been and what are you doing?
I think it's that, too. And it's like as I said, it's football Sunday.
Yep.
And, and here's all the guys, they're betting their stuff and they're playing, fantasy, doing whatever. And the female's going, I don't even know how to do that. and believe me, I never diminish females. Right. Women are as smart as anybody, but they've just never been in that arena. And so if you could bring them into the arena, now they're sitting there with them and, and they're watching, and it's just fun. It's good entertainment. And I always sell it as it's entertainment. Never, what I always say, never bet with scared money, ever.
I'm Scared Money, by the way, Patty. That's my middle name is Scared Money.
Is it?
Yes.
Well,
I tell them all, I agree with you. Scared money don't make money, but I always tell everyone I'm scared money, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind talking the conversation. I don't mind looking at the lines. I don't mind determining some things by the lines. But, Patty, it takes me too long to make some money. I'm always scared money.
I say just look at it as I'm going out to dinner or I'm going to a show.
Right. That's a good
the way
point.
you have to look at it, So if you do it that way, and all you have to do is hit one parlay, and then you're like, "Oh my God, this really was fun!" The joy of winning, right?
Yes. That's the problem is that you win, and then I've won a couple times, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Ooh, I could do this more often," and then all of a sudden I get humbled really quickly. Well, Patty, I also like the fact that this is a lane that nobody else is in but you. Right. And so how important is that for you to be in this lane and really be the leader in the clubhouse when it comes to not only educating folks when it comes to betting, but like you said, educating women because, you want to make sure that they're up on what they need to be doing as well. I
think that I'm not so sure about the importance of it, but why not? They should know, if that's what they want to do. I grew up in the Midwest, and believe me, it was a very men do this and women do that. And it's a different era now. And so there's no reason that women shouldn't know these kind of things, how to bet, how to talk about it, how to have a good time. To me, it's an entertainment value. And it's spending time together, if that sounds really weird. But if if it's Thanksgiving, because we all know that we have certain games that we have on Thanksgiving, and everybody's going, oh, look at this game, let's go watch it. And some people are going, well, why would I even want to watch it? I don't even like those teams. But if you put $10 on the game, all of a sudden you like the team, you like the game, and it makes it fun, and it's good interaction. So everybody's just kind of hanging out together, rooting for something together, and so I think that it's just a diversity kind of issue, even though that's an overused word. But why not teach everybody? And I think the other part is I have had so many women that I talk to that say, man, I really wish I knew how to bet, but I had no idea. No, that's important. I guess important is not the right word, but it's good and it's valuable to have the knowledge. And I think it's really cool that you're able to do this and you're putting it out there. And you've got the Bet Money Honey podcast. So tell everyone where you can find the podcast. How often do you drop the podcast? Just give us a little bit more background on the show itself. Well, we're at least doing one a week, and the podcasts are more right now. They're like teaching moments, is what it is. So I'll say a little bit about why we're teaching this today, what it is, and then tell them how to bet a certain aspect is how I do it. Once a week for sure, and we have it on many different outlets. If you just want to look at YouTube, it's Bet Money Honey Podcast, but you have to put all that in there. You can go to Facebook. I do have a website that we're working on. We are going to start a podcast pretty soon, and my first one is going to be in a couple of weeks, and because again, I've been around a long time, and so I know some people that have been in the industry, kind of retired from the industry, but were here when it all started, when we were just doing handwritten lines. There was no computers. Right. But I want to start bringing some of them on, too, just to give us some flavor and some stories. And so, again, it's just background, but, once a week right now, for sure, we put something out there that teaches you at least one thing in betting.
Bet Money Honey Podcast YouTube, Bet Money Honey on Facebook. You got at Bet Money Honey Podcast on Instagram. And you said you're working on the website, betmoneyhoney.com. Well, Patty, great stuff.
Yeah.
Really is. I really could appreciate what you got going on and what you're working on. And we're going to have to do this again. We're going to have to get into some maybe some games. Maybe we'll get a handful of games and we'll get together and we'll talk about them.
That would be fun. Q, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely. It won't be the last one, Patty. We'll catch up again soon, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya. There she goes. Patty Davidson right there. BetMoneyHoney.com is our website. Bet Money Honey Podcast. I think that's cool. That's cool. That's the only person in that lane doing that in that specific avenue, trying to make sure that she educates women in the sports betting world. And I'll tell you, I said I have no problem saying that I'm scared money, right? I mean, look, I'm that dude. I've said it so many times on the show that I'll go into GVR right around the corner from my house. I'll throw $100 into the slot machine. I'll play it. When I lose, okay, I'm done. Right? It's just that simple. My dad loves to do sports betting. Loves it. Loves it. He'll go to the casino. He'll sit in the sports book for hours, and he'll put together a parlay. And it's so funny because the pressure's on me because he's like, well, you're the sports guy, so okay. What do you think about this one? What do you think about this one? All right, well, this is how many runs that they have to score in this. All right, let's do this. And then all of a sudden we'll get like two games already won in the parlay, and then the pressure's on the third game. And so I'm sitting there sweating. It ain't even my money, and I'm sitting there sweating. So I know that it's not my lane, right? When I'm struggling and I know it's not even my money, and I know it's just, hey, look, he's going to lose his money, but I know that I gave him the advice. It's all bad. So. But it is a lot of fun, and I think that with what Patty's doing, and like I said, having women educated on how to bet as well, and you don't have to have all these like fancy details and everything, and know every kind of lingo. I mean, just I say betting for dummies. If I could understand it, anyone could understand it. Again, but I am still scared money, and I have no problem with that.